Well, to start, listen, I know it was a quick couple episodes, but it was a dramatic couple of episodes. What's so
I
interesting is
know.
yeah, what's so interesting is that, the last time you were on TV was almost a decade
Mhm.
ago, Battle of the X's 2, and you obviously
Mhm.
had done a lot of challenge since then, dominating All-Stars, World Championships. When you get the offer to come back for this, what was your first reaction? Did you know about this kind of twisted format where you're going to get brought in alongside these CBS competitors?
Oh, no, I had no idea. So for me, All Stars, I feel like I kind of like conquered All Stars. I pretty much went to the highest level that I could go there. And so it was a personal goal for me to like up the level of competition. So when the show came about and everything happened and they called me for it, I was like, great, this is my chance to prove to everybody that it's not just, I was competing against older people on All Stars. Like, I am now stepping into the competitor that I am, and I'm ready to prove, like, just personally to myself and everyone else that I'm ready for this. I would love to do like the main show again, but just, being a mom of two, leaving for that long period of time just doesn't work for me. So when like the global championship came up and then the opportunity to be on the Challenge USA, I was like stoked. I was so excited.
So that being said, listen, it's far from your first time around the block, and you made reference to like talking with Wes before the season. Was there some scuttlebutt amongst the alumni community of like, oh, are you going to be on this? Who did you know was going to be on this beforehand?
Literally, so I walked into this, okay. So normally when you go on a show, people kind of chat before, like, oh, who's going, whatever. I literally, because I, have my regular life here, I tried to explain this to someone the other day. It's like I basically live under a rock. Like, uh, for instance, I went into this not knowing that like Amanda and Tori didn't like each other. I went into this not like I was standing on that platform and everybody was dying laughing when they saw like, that Bananas and Polly and Josh were all on the same team. But I was like, what's so funny? Like, because, for the past 7 years of my life, I haven't been paying attention to like what's going on the challenge and who knows who. So this time around, the only ally I knew that I had was Wes.
So you talk about
So
the personalities that made up Team Red Flag. I mean, it should say you were first pick overall out of the entire
yeah.
field. What was that like for you? And did that change the more that these people came to your team and you started to look around and see, yeah, I joined a family that maybe isn't as harmonious as I thought?
Right. So I was pretty excited to be first round draft pick for the second time in a row. Now I'm starting to think though, like maybe don't pick me first because it hasn't turned out so great. um, the crazy thing about USA was, you know, I didn't know any of these people. And then so when you walk into a game, you have no idea if it's going to be teams, if it's going to be pairs, individual. I tend to thrive in like the individual and pairs format. I've always wanted to play a team format, right? But this time around, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to act. You know.
Well, yeah,
I
it's a
don't know if
big
that's a good question.
no, it definitely does because I'm so intrigued by the dynamic between the vets and the CBS people,
Mhm.
I should say, on your team. Because we saw like
Yeah.
Corey and Tori had things with an iron fist, Wes and Amanda, not so much. What was your and Bananas dynamic like with the rest of your team?
Yeah, first of all, whoever created this format, I'll just blame TJ, okay? They set us up, man. Like, come on. Like I walk into this and we're outnumbered 6 to 18. And what do all 18 of these people have in common? Like they have, they're from different shows, whatever. The only thing that they had in common that they probably talked about before coming here was first things first, let's get these six vets out and then we can go from there. And I didn't know walking into this that like my back was going to be against the wall and that basically it was going to be an uphill battle the whole way. So as far as how the teams broke down, so in the past, Bananas and I will say he's been responsible. Like when I was on the flagship show before, he was responsible for me going home a lot of the times. So him and I have never really been like allies, but I was excited this time around to be able to basically be forced to work with him. We were on the same team, you know? So
Mm.
I would say I probably would have rather been on a team with Wes, but I think this time around we finally like got to work together, even though, you know, it was short lived.
Well, listen, we gotta get into the Michelle vote. Really the spark that
Oh
like
my
led
gosh.
to you talking with me today. So I know that you had said Wes had put a little bit of a bug in your ear and there was this whole anonymous vote happening, but like talk me through what led you to putting that ball in the tube and what was your reaction when you found out, okay, that ball may have led to her going into that elimination?
Oh, it 100% did. So what's funny is I actually spent this past weekend for the premiere with Michelle. Michelle and I, because we were just sitting there, we're like, where did we go wrong? Like, what happened? I'm like, I'm blaming this all on Wes, okay? But the funny thing is so what happens when you're on a show and you tend to leave, if you leave early or whatever, I feel like a lot of the story really isn't told. And because so the type of person that I am, I if I had to relate it to something, by the way, I just became a huge Survivor fan and I've been watching every single Survivor. The way that my brain works and always has is I get in my own head, okay? And I immediately, once I found out what the game was, I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Everybody thinks this is like a red team, blue team, green team thing. I saw all the layers immediately. That's how my
Mm.
brain works. Is I was just like, this isn't just teams. I know at some point this is probably going to be individual. And there's, you know, 18 people versus 6. And there were just so many complicated layers that like my brain, it's so funny. Corey was actually my roommate, right? And him and I are very different, but this is our first show together. But he would walk in and he'd be like, they're all coming for us, you know? And I was like, don't worry, there's like different ways to navigate. You know, I was like, if I'm like, Corey, if you get voted in, if you're the main vote, right? Then we'll all just vote for girls, you know, or whatever. And he was just, you could tell he was like thinking, like, wait, what do you mean? I'm like, okay, this is too complicated for right now. Like, there's so many layers, so many steps, so many different factors that play into this game that was where I was. So basically, as soon as I figured all this out in my brain's working, working, working. And I was basically playing chess while everybody was still playing checkers, if that makes
Mm.
sense. I was thinking in my head, I was thinking 2 steps ahead. So basically how I broke it down is I like I looked at every team, right? I had a notebook. I looked at every team and wrote down everybody by team. And then I color coded it with like, okay, these people are from, you know, Big Brother. There's 9 people from Big Brother. There's 7 people from Survivor. There's like 6 people over here that are, you know, somewhere in between. They're not really vets, but they've done the show. And so the way that I looked at it, the reason why I voted Michelle in is because when I broke it down in my like analytical brain, um, this whole game was taking risks, right?
Mm.
Michelle is the only Survivor female winner. All right.
Right.
I know that her and I are so similar, and I know that there's so much more going on with her as well. So, with the people that I was trying to align with, I basically needed Michelle out. So, I took the risk of putting her in. And had it worked out, had Michelle gone home, it would have set me up so much better, you know, in the future. But
Yeah.
here's the problem: you got to make it to the future in order for it to work. So I already felt like my back was like up against the wall with everything. So I was like, either one of 2 things is going to happen. I'm either going to go into elimination every time, or I can take this big risky move by putting her in, hope
Mm.
that she goes home and better my game. Because at that point, you know, we didn't know that people were going to see the votes. We didn't know that we were going to be able to switch teams yet. We didn't know anything. And so with the information and the knowledge that I had in that moment, I felt like that was my best move, was because of the people that she was connected to and the very few people I was connected to. The only way to better my position in the game was to get Michelle out of there.
Well,
And
I mean,
you know what? It's so funny. Her social game is insane. Like you see
mhm.
it in episode 2 where she's sitting there and she's basically convincing this group of girls, like, we need to get the vets out. You know, how do we set up Jonna versus Tori? She basically had them do what she wanted them to do without them knowing it, you know?
Mm.
And she pushed the whole, let's get vets out, let's get vets out. I don't think Michelle would have been like, let's get vets out had she not figured out I was the one who voted for her.
Yeah, talk to me about that,
So
because there's this weird scene with the red
she
team where
knew
it's
immediately.
yeah, well, it's the red team.
Immediately.
The red team accept you, and like they float out. Okay, it's definitely Jonna, and you seemed a little shocked to get voted in. So, like, talk me through. Were you aware that people were clocking your
No,
game
I
immediately?
knew that. So the funny thing is, the first vote with Michelle and yours, I was so shocked. And Michelle said, I was so shocked that I didn't get any votes. I was
Mm.
like, how did I pull that off? You know, that should have been my sign there to just, you know, lay low and then let everybody else, you know, do whatever. But because I had already put Michelle's name in the hopper, I basically dug my own grave. Like, I should have realized, and now after watching many seasons of Survivor, you know, Survivor and Big Brother, their games are solely based on the social aspect of it, you know, and they're very, survivors especially are very, very good at counting numbers, which is why when she was in that elimination, she knew immediately that someone from our team voted for her. I'm like, how did she figure that out? I'm like, how did she know? You know, but you know, she's a very smart player. We are similar. We're good at similar things, aligned with similar people. So I just knew at that point, like, my only chance of helping myself is I have to get her out of here. Now that we've come back from all of this and her and I are a little bit closer now, you know, we've talked about it. We're like, okay, next time, let's just be on the same page.
Uh
Okay.
huh. Well, yeah,
So
I mean, I want to finish by talking about next time because obviously you are a challenge mainstay at this point. But listen, you mentioned Survivor quite a few times in this conversation, and you are no stranger to multiple reality shows. I tracked you on Endurance back in the day. I know you've hopped between them. Is an island somewhere in your future? Is that something you'd look to do if given the opportunity?
I wish, you know, I think about it and I'm like, Survivor, I feel like I would be really good at that because that's how, you know, how survivors think, it's how I think in the challenge house, you know. Now, if this was 10 years ago and you gave me the opportunity to be on Survivor, hands down, absolutely, I'd be like, yes, this game's for me. Now, today, I don't know if I could do all that. Like, I don't function very well when I'm hungry, when I'm tired. Like, I don't so I don't think that I could do it now, but I mean, if the chance was ever given to me, I would consider it.
Well, listen, I'm putting all my feelings out there to the gods, the CBS gods above, but I'm happy I got to talk with you today, no matter what the circumstance. I have been following like your journey for a long time, and it's been awesome to get to see you grow in such a big way. And I know you were here for not a long time, but it certainly was a good time getting to watch you over the course of this season.
Yes, I just, you know what I did? I ripped the band-aid off. Like, I could see all the chaos that was going to happen. I was like, hey, might as well start it early. So I just, you know, started it off for the red flags.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Jonna. So great talking with you. All the best to you and your family. Thanks so much again.
Thank you.
Bye bye.